Hey everyone, and welcome back to part 2. Let's emboss. First we're going to use our Versamark. I forgot to share with that earlier in the supplies and tools. We're just going to use our flower from our magnolia stamp set. We're just going to line it up. Get the hair out of the way. Just press down firmly, always making sure that our stamp is clean. Now we're just going to make sure that we use this embossing buddy. This just makes sure it gets rid of all the static in the oil and the things that the embossing powder may stick to where we don't want it to. So we just give it a nice clean thing. You can also use a dryer sheet too. That works perfectly well. We take our Versamark, and I always stamp this way. It's just something that I've always done. It just gives it really good coverage. Sorry for the bouncing that's going on. And we're just going to figure out where we want to place our stamp and then press down firmly. And again, just stamp right up. And again, I apologize for the bouncing. I'm using a little picnic table, a fold-out table, because my things have not arrived yet from Australia. So now that I'm back in the States, I still don't have my things, and we're living in our house, camping out. And one more time, just ink up that stamp, flip it around, and just figure out where we want to place it, and press down firmly. Just put that away, and now we'll grab our embossing stuff. And I'm using a Stampin' Up! Detailed embossing, but you can use whatever you have. Make sure that it's detailed though. It's just a little bit finer embossing powder, and it does really well. You can use just regular stuff, embossing powder for this, but I usually tend to go towards the detailed one. I find that I have a better embossing image when I use it. So just gently tap off and make sure that it is. Sometimes I flick it in the back. As you can see, I did use this watercolor paper already, and it got jammed in my printer, but it makes really great cards. Now I'm going to just slowly try to get the little dots off, make sure that there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. And we'll push this embossing powder out of the way, and now we'll just emboss with our gun, just going back and forth lightly. You don't want to hold the embossing gun onto the paper because it can get too hot and you can burn it. I have seen ladies burn their paper before from not being gentle. Just keep going back and forth. And right when it turns, you can see it's just beautiful when it just turns. And what I did here is some of the embossing powder didn't get covered. So while it's still hot, you could always put another second layer of embossing powder on it. And if you see any mistakes or somewhere you missed while it's still hot, go ahead and hit it again with some embossing powder. That's what I always do. And you just tip over the areas while it's still hot, and then just hit it again with the gun. And you can see right here, I've just missed a little spots right here. And so I just want to make sure that I hit it again. Push that out of the way. Find the on button. And slowly just go over. It shouldn't take very long because the paper's already nice and warm. Just gently going back and forth, getting a nice, clean, beautiful image. And now we're ready to start watercoloring. So I hope you join me in our next segment as we watercolor these beautiful magnolias.